Hi again, this is Josh with JE Vintage Minis in Orlando, Florida. This is going to be the second video on this build of the 70 Z50. We're going to work on the rims, get those blasted down, painted, polish the hubs, kind of just rebuild the rim sets. I cleaned off all the overspray on this jug after painting, so we got that cleaned up. And then got the acid in my battery. Gonna let it charge, trickle charge for a while. So we have this tank that's been sitting overnight with evapor rust in it. I'm going to leave it in there for the rest of the day before pouring it back out. Also got the cylinder head broken down. Alright, so got the cover off, my chain off, loosened my chain tensioners, got my brake cables disconnected, axle nut is removed, so I'm going to go ahead and remove my wheels now. Got it up on its stand to hold it. Alright, now we can start on the wheels and get those broken down. Alright, so this is always the fun part, is hoping that the rim will separate from the tire. There's a steel bead on the tire that sometimes gets rusted to the rim. I left the air in the tube to help push the two rim parts apart initially, but I'm going to let the air out now so that it's not squeezing on the rims anymore, and then hope for the best with these tire spoons, and I can work around and get it broken loose. So I'm not having any luck with the tire spoons, and since these tires are worn and I'm not reusing them and I don't care about the tube inside, I'm gonna go to my quick method, which is going to be using a multi-tool with a sharpened scraper tip and then a metal Bosch tipped blade that's going to cut through the wire that's in the bead of the tire. But I'll show you how I do that real quick. Alright, in preparation, I'm going to sharpen these little scrapers that I'm going to use in my multi-tool. Got a pretty nice edge on it now that will cut through that tire. Sneak peek on this Minty 85 here. I've been working on this back on and off for a local guy. It's got a little bit more work than he wants done on it, but it's really good shape, all original. So I already have a video, it's probably the first video I ever uploaded on my page of taking the tires off with a multi-tool, but I switched over to from Bosch, which I had for like 10 or 12 years, the 18-volt tool to the M12 Milwaukee. So it's the first time I'm going to use this multi-tool, and hopefully it works good. Alright, so I got the rims taken out of the tire. Still has the tire's steel bead wrapped around the rim. It's stuck there with some rust. I'm going to use my Bosch carbide tip multi-tool blade. So once those steel beads are broken, it will release itself. So I'll do that for the rest of the rims, and then we're going to get ready to do some media blasting in the blast cabinet. So after inspection, the rims are all in good shape, still round, nothing's out of whack. We're going to get this inner rust taken off with the bead blaster, and then I'm going to coat these with a couple coats of the Honda Cloud Silver. So I got these all blasted down. Took a wire wheel too to kind of knock down some weird stuff that was stuck in the metal, but they all have some pock marks in it now that I've gotten all the old paint off of it. So I'm going to try my best. I'm going to use an Etching Primer, and then I'm going to use a filler primer to help fill in some of these voids, defects in the metal, and then do some sanding on it, and then put the final finish of the Honda Cloud. So we'll go through that process, and I'm going to see how it all comes out, if it's acceptable. If not, I'll talk to the owner and see what his opinion is of the final product. So I got some high build primer on these rims. Gotta give them probably about 4 hours, and then I'll do a wet sanding and see how much of the imperfections are covered up. In the meantime, I'll get started on my hubs. I gotta get the paint off these hubs and get them polished. So I'll get the bearings out of them, get them in the, probably use a media blast cabinet, get them knocked down off the paint, and then I'll go to the polishing center and use a 3M Scotch-Brite pad to kind of get a initial satin finish on them, and then work my way up to a shine. Alright, so the first step, I got them blasted down with some media. They're pretty rough right now, and I'm going to use that 3M pad on the buffer. Start the polishing process. Alright, so this is with the 3M pad. Everything's got a nice satin finish on it. I ended up cleaning these. We're going to repurpose these brake arms. I know I knocked off the zinc coating, so what I'm going to do is just polish these up to a nice steel brightness, and then I'll put a clear over it so we can use them again without them flash rusting. We're not going to stop there, so I'm going to keep going with the polishing. Alright, so that's as far as I'm going to take it with the polishing. Came out pretty good. I will work on the rims. I got to get those sanded down, and then we'll put on the Cloud Silver on them. Alright, so you keep hearing me say Honda Cloud. This is a match to the original Honda Silver that was used on these bikes. It's the part number. You can get it in a touch-up can. So I got all my coats on. I'm going to let them dry for the night. It's getting dark. It's about 6 o'clock here, Eastern time. So I'm going to let these dry up, and then we'll do the next video, video 3. I'll assemble the wheels back together and then start to work on the engine. Alright guys, thanks for following along.